Hello, and welcome to the Great Game Debate Podcast, where friends come together to respectfully discuss, debate, and disagree about video games. As always, I'm your host, Katie Lane, and joining me as always is the godfather of the debate himself, Jonah Gomez. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Caden. It's my first week, it's my week of vacation. I'm stoked.
Yeah.
It's the
I'm sure you're
start of
working
my vacation.
super hard.
This week was actually really chill. We had a lot of snow, and so they called off work like the first 2 days I was supposed to come back after my weekend. So I had a long weekend. It was awesome. I got to play some games. I got a game to pitch this week. I'm pretty stoked about it, but yeah, just chilled at home. Now I'm on vacation. It's like 2 vacations in a row is nice.
Hell yeah, bro. And of course, our man in Australia, Saucy Stephen Beaumont. How you doing, buddy?
Can we have baby Caden just repeat that with his prepubescent, like voice-breaking voice?
Stephen from Australia. How you doing,
God,
Saucy?
I hate that. I hate that. Please,
it's
no
so
more.
Good.
So you don't have a problem with me.
For listeners, Caden has shaved his beard, so I just want to give a shout out. We may disagree on video games, the dumbest thing of all time, but this Discord never lets me down on manga recommendations. I've been reading 20th Century Boys, and I've also been reading Vinland Saga, and just absolute bangers all around. Like,
Vinland Saga's so good, dude.
Yeah, that's me.
Hell yeah. And of course, we're not complete without the whose voice has been graced with gold, Matea.
I'm doing pretty good, man. You know, I just did my first session on my duet campaign, and it went pretty well. Like there, I've got some room for improvement. I got some notes for myself, so I can make next session better. But yeah, man, it was great. I've been so nervous about it for like a week or 2 weeks, but once you do it, it's just like, okay, cool. I can probably do this.
I love it, dude. It's, very tightly knit with like improv, and I just think those kinds of things are something everyone should learn because they're just very helpful in a lot of aspects of life,
Yeah, but, there's definitely like a goofiness factor you have to get over a little bit with D&D.
Yeah,
especially for the DM, like
gets you back in touch with like your inner child. Like let's just get silly. Let's not be self-conscious. So yeah. And of course, our special guest this week is none other than friend of the show and recurring guest, Ryan Stambell. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, thanks so much for having me back. It's great to be here. I'm doing well.
Oh yeah, well, we're thrilled to have you back. We appreciate you working with our ever-changing schedule needs and being flexible.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, it worked out for me. I since my last appearance, I switched coasts. So
nice.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Ryan and I are a little closer now.
That's true.
We're a lot closer.
We're a lot closer now.
But Cade and I are much farther away.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Is anyone else seeing 9 Inch Nails in their head right now?
All right. Well, I hope you guys stopped by the drop pod and picked up your deep core assault rifle because it's time for the icebreaker.
Rockin' Stone.
And this one comes in from community member Randall Reborn, who is essentially a community questions bot at this point. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, Randall.
He says, how long do you guys keep old games, systems, and other hardware? I tend to lose or get rid of things to make room for my new stuff. Anybody want to jump in on this one? Strong thoughts?
I've got one. So I've got this big like DVD shelf downstairs in my gym, and it doesn't belong in there. This thing is a monster. It's filled with like PS2 titles, PS1 titles, and things like that. Haven't played any of them in years, and I still can't get rid of them. I've had at least probably like 3 partners of mine trying to convince me to get rid of this thing because it's just pointless and just taking up space.
Yeah.
And I refuse so far. So I keep them for way too long. That's my answer. I can't get rid of shit.
All you have to do is take one case off the shelf and ask yourself, does this spark joy? And the answer is probably yes. And then you just put it back and leave it there. So,
Rinse, repeat.
yeah.
I think for me, the only thing that I have that's like stuck around for a long time, for way too long, has been my Rock Band stuff. Even though the 360 is long gone, I still have the drums, I still have my guitars, I still have a mic. It's all floating in a big like stroller box filled with that stuff and like old Nerf guns. But I usually don't replay games very often, if at all. So I'm pretty quick to just let old systems and some games go. I don't trade games in like I used to as a kid, just because I have adult money now.
What do you do with the stuff when you're trying to get rid of it then?
I mean, it's easy to get rid of an entire library if most of it's digital.
That's true.
That's very true. Yeah.
Steven, what you got for this one?
I've got a Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, boy,
I've got
let's go.
a 2DS. I've got
Yes,
a 3DS.
yes.
I've got
More,
a DS.
more.
I've got a 3DS XL. I've got Pokemon Yellow, Blue, Silver, Gold, Emerald, Ruby.
Like, what's the question again? I'm just showing off my game.
Anything outside of Pokemon.
This stupid fucking thing.
Fucking Pokemon, Go Ball.
This, the pedometer.
Nice.
I can put my hands on a Pokewalker still.
Yeah.
This, like, Tarzos from like, if I'm gonna not gonna get rid of fucking Tarzos or Pogs or whatever you call them in the States, I'm like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, like what
Pogs.
the fuck is the point of that?
Yes, dude.
I'm not gonna get rid of my
Well, I
consoles.
think Steven's answer is like, I need professional help. What about you, Reg?
I mean, if you look above his head, he's got two N64s.
Yeah.
Not even plugged into anything. They're just there.
Well, I'm not as aggressive as Steven. I could put my hands on a 3DS just off screen over here, but only one 3DS, and it's got all the Pokemon on it. I've got a PS3 and PS4 hanging around for some reason, but not a lot. Not a lot of older stuff winds up sticking around unless I still play it, which I still play that 3DS because Pokemon.
I think the only collectible console that I have is I have a Game Boy Micro in this.
Oh hell yeah, dude! That thing is so fucking pointless.
It's not
a microscope to play.
What is a Game Boy Micro?
Do I need to go get it? I'll go get it.
Game Boy, but with a 1.5-inch diagonal screen.
Yeah, you literally have to pull out like a headset that has like microscope goggles to be able to even play it. It doesn't even like have a backlight. I don't think like it's
time.
Yeah, I remember when I saw this for the first time. I literally laughed at it. Like it's just stupid. All right,
I'm so curious to see what it's gonna whip out here.
So
you're barely gonna see it.
It's one of the
tiny.
It's one of the legendary ones too, or the rare ones with the gold plate and then the shiny.
So you can see
that was the one
I
saw so much more regularly.
Oh, dude,
so it's made to look like a Game & Watch.
Yeah, this thing goes for like $250, $300.
You're kidding me.
Yeah,
I had one of those.
The basic gray and black one is you can get them for like $90, I think, but this one is like sought after for whatever reason.
Huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do the L and R buttons work? Because like for some reason, like SP and then onto DS and stuff, the L and R buttons just die so quick.
I can hear it clicking, but you can't.
Yeah, boot it up, bro.
This thing is so dead. Oh, I've got a game in here. Ooh, I got.
Does it still use like AA batteries?
No, it's got a charger. No, it's a Hot Wheels game by THQ.
Very nice.
I hope that was a bargain bin get.
I think it was.
It was like $1.
Yeah.
Did you give your answer to them?
How's about this?
No.
We found a TMNT like DS game just on the side of the road one day. Like, talking about bargain bin, I've found like trash games, actual trash.
Did you try and play it?
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah.
This question's interesting for me because I grew up in a house of 4 brothers, and we were all gamers. So there usually wasn't like a console going unused. It's like we'd have like 1 or 2 consoles literally set up to a TV in like every fucking room in the house, so that like someone could be gaming at all times. So I did a lot more of like replaying video games when I was younger. Like my brothers would be in the living room on like the big, flat screen TV doing like the latest games or whatever on the PC. And I'd just be like in the sunroom on a small CRTV playing like Dark Cloud, all summer. It was just like the best ever. But
there was a lot of pass down in your family though, because your brothers would get all the new stuff and then
exactly. What this brings up for me actually is that my eldest brother usually was the one who was like getting the games, like they were given to him specifically, so they were his games. And out of all of us, he was the only one that would like finish a game, be like, I'm never gonna play this again, and then sell it. And then like, maybe the rest of us didn't get the chance to play it, or like a year later he would be like, oh, where's my copy of like Knights of the Old Republic? I want to replay that. And it's like, you sold that, you idiot, for like $5 at GameStop. So, and then when I eventually moved out, I didn't bring any gaming stuff with me because it belonged to the family. So my first console out of moving out on my own was like a pawn shop GameCube. So yeah, it's weird. And most of my library now is digital. Dude. So yeah, I still fire it up for some OG Metroid Prime now and then. But I guess I'm the type that just like hangs on to these things because I eventually go back to them. Like I've been traveling to hotels recently, and I didn't really have anything I was playing on my Switch, so I dug out my 3DS and like my brother's old copy of like the DS Super Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, bro. That shit holds up. So. Yeah, great question. We appreciate it, Randall. But before we move on, I'd like to give a shout out to our patrons. I remembered this time. So shout out to Dan Giesler, Pucho, Wes, and Dakota Falk. Really appreciate it.
Heroes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very, very much. And shout out, of course, to our sister show, GGG Gaiden, that Wes is the host of. They just put out their top 10 snow and ice levels, which was really fun community discussion, and to see the top 10 that shook out. It was a really, really fun list. So
go check that out. You get to hear me extremely sick talk
about
the
it honestly like helped the vibes, because it's like, hey, I'm like, teenager West from the past in the winter, and I have a cold, and I'm eating my mom's chili, and I'm telling you about winter snow and ice levels.
I'd completely forgotten about that entire like dungeon, and that was like awesome to hear it, because I remember the ball and chain and that being cool and like really heavy, but I don't remember anything about the dungeon, and so that was a really cool trip. So I really appreciated that.
Thanks, man.
What dungeon are we talking about? I guess you'll have to watch the episode.
Ooh.
All right. So before we move on, Ryan, I just want to ask, you're known in our community for doing the Gotta Rank 'Em All podcast with your friend Chris over the Friendly Fire community. Have you guys got up as far as like not the most recent, but the first DLC for Gen 9? Or how far
we need to play the DLC, basically. We have cleared all of the other Pokemon except for the DLC Pokemon for Scarlet and Violet.
Wow. Okay.
But that's Chris and I had a very busy gaming in 2023. I don't know if you guys heard, but a lot of video games came out in 2023. I don't know if you're aware. So, and Pokemon didn't make either of our playtimes last year. So as soon as we get on play, because we like to get a little hands-on time with them, we don't.
Oh yeah. I mean, what?
But yeah, that will be coming back at some point once we've had a little bit of hands-on time with the DLC and some of the new ones.
The hands-on time is really important. I won't go into it too much because I talk about it too much. But this past year, I played this Pokemon hack that made me fall back in love with Pokemon, and they created this whole different dynamics where in the past I pretty much only ranked Pokemon off of aesthetics, but now it's like, oh, Chansey, you ugly motherfucker, but you sure are one competitive machine. Like, I love you now.
I've been playing a Soul Silver randomizer lately and having like a much different experience than I've had with Pokemon for a lot of my life, going through and not knowing what to expect in a game that I've played once a year for the last 20, like
I haven't gotten into a ton of it, but man, the idea of these randomizers being tossed into games, it really mixes things up. I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's a game you like have played a lot that you're a big fan of, try a randomizer.
Probably a randomizer.
Yeah, it's worth the experimentation, I would say.
Heck yeah! All right, and where can people find your show? And feel free to plug anything else.
Friendly Fire Pod on Twitch, Friendly Fire Games Pod, or just search for Gotta Rank 'Em All on YouTube. Those are going to be the big ones. Yeah, check us out there. But again, we're in between stuff right now. We're waiting. We're like, we just gotta we gotta get our hands on these Pokemon. But it will come. It will come. I promise.
Of course. All right, I'll turn things over to Steven for our next segment. You can take it away, buddy.
Welcome back, everybody, and we have a really special episode this week. We're shaking up a bit this year, and we're introducing a new segment that could replace debates if we have guests on that maybe aren't comfortable doing a debate. But yeah, the idea is that we're bringing together the GGD, the Great Goaty Dlist. Anyway, this is
that's how the idea. L-I-S-T, right? You guys too?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
It's the D-list.
That's why I failed. Just like Yoda said, this is why you fail. But yeah, so the idea is that everyone brings a game. Like on a normal episode, everyone will bring just one game, and we'll sort it into our top 10, which will slowly grow and grow and grow. So for our initial episode, we're going to have 10 games. So at the end of this episode, we will have the 10 greatest games of all time. But not only that, but we want to spice it up so it's not just like a really stale list. The idea is that there'll be theming to the list. So for this episode, we have brought two themes. The first theme being First Love, and the second theme being, oh, that's cool. And that's just a video game that had a mechanic or some sort of system that you just like, it went from being like, I enjoy this, to like, wow, this is something else. So yeah, the idea is then, it just makes the list a little less sterile and a little more malleable. But yeah, so once someone throws it out, obviously the first game is going to be number one on the list. So without further ado, obviously I'll take it because I need to make sure my game is number one. No, I won't actually. I'm going to throw it over to Ryan because this list wouldn't exist without Pokemon's Gotta Rank 'Em All. It comes from his idea. So, First Love, Ryan. What came to your mind when I said First Love?
Well, if in case you guys are shocked, being that I have a Pokemon podcast, the first thing that came to my mind was a Pokemon game.
Yeah,
at First Love, and the game that like solidified me as a Pokemon fan was and is Pokemon Silver.
Okay.
Gen 2 all the way. Something about just the
that was
creature.
my first Pokemon game too.
Really? My first. Wow, yeah. Oh, you are younger. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the quality of life we got over Gen 1, adding the colors. My favorite Pokemon is Typhlosion, so getting my favorite Pokemon as the starter in Gen 2 always feels good. Getting all of Kanto in there as well, so like you got to go back and see the whole first area.
Check out that Viridian City. You'll see Viridian Forest is 100% 1-to-1.
Identical. But I mean, absolutely, it is the first game that sparked a lifelong love of that IP specifically, but video games on the whole.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Let's give a quick shout out to Satoru Iwata for somehow, supposedly, we don't know if it's true or not, but supposedly coding by himself Kanto into like the second gen game.
The story, as I heard it, was they were having trouble fitting because they had this grand scale of what the map wanted to be for Gen 2, and they were like having trouble fitting that in with everything, all like the Pokemon that needed to be in there and the movesets, the whole deal. And because it was like 3 or 4 programmers working on Gen 1 and Gen 2 and Pokemon Stadium and trying to get Gen 1 to work with Pokemon Stadium at the same time because Gen 1 went crazy. And they didn't like in the way that not that I'm a programmer, but in the way that programmers like denote and take notes about the stuff that they're writing as they program, they weren't doing that back in the day. So like they had trouble figuring out how everything was laid out internally because it was a little bit of a mess. And the as story goes is Satoru Iwata like volunteered to help them took their code home and in a weekend figured it out and simplified it to the point that they were able to add Kanto in.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's insane.
Rest in peace, King.
Legend.
Yeah.
What an amazing brain, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right, now the spice starts, because obviously the greatest game of all time, Pokemon Silver.
Mhm.
No one can
Of
deny
course.
that.
Duh.
It is the greatest game of all time.
Easy.
What was your first love, Jonah, and where's this going to rank on the greatest games of all time?
Well, I think this is going to be the number one. But my first love, it feels like such a cliche answer, but it's got to be Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
That is a good answer. That is a good answer. It is not the answer I would expect from Jonah.
Really?
Just because the age difference.
Yeah.
Like it feels like
age difference, yeah.
That's fair.
That was like the first video game that I really got into as a kid.
If I remember back to like the first episode of this podcast, did you say that you went around to like your auntie's house or like your grandma's house or something?
That's
Someone
me.
else owned it. Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, your grandma owned it? Is this a true story?
Yeah, my grandma and her partner had a PlayStation 2, a Nintendo 64, and a Game Boy, and they had Ocarina of Time and Mario 64 and Kingdom Hearts and like Tetris, and that's where I started playing a lot of games.
Yeah.
Holy
Shout out to
damn.
Caden's grandparents, the
Yeah,
original
boy.
gamers.
Do you know what's awesome? My grandma was like a hardcore gamer. She played like the RPGs and stuff on the Super Nintendo. I'm surprised I never got into like turn-based RPGs, but she would hold the controller upside down backwards, and that's how she would play because she needed it inverted.
Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, tell us your Ocarina of Time story, bro.
I mean, I was like a young kid, and you know, the adventure of waking up in that tree house and going through Kakiri Forest and
so did you have a 64, or was this a neighbor kid, or was this like a rental?
So, oh god, when some of my first memories were when we lived in Alaska for like a couple years, and the people that we lived with, they were like really big video game heads, and so they had an NES, a Super Nintendo, and an N64, and so one side of the house was playing the Super Nintendo and the NES, and then the other side on the main screen they were playing the N64, and like I would watch them play Ocarina of Time all the time, and so while we lived there, I had like one of the worst nightmares of the Great Deku Tree, of the fucking spiders, dude.
Yeah,
scared the shit out of me. But like,
I was gonna say Gibdos, or those necro things that like underneath the well.
Yeah.
Every time I had watched them, they had never gotten past a Deku Tree, because they were still like fairly younger kids too.
Yeah, we were dumb kids at a certain point. Yeah,
just the atmosphere of the Great Deku Tree is so spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you kind of take that for granted now because the leap in graphics. But yeah, there's some sets in Ocarina of Time that are just like genuinely just like scary underneath the well, all that stuff.
But just trying to figure that game out as a kid, it is so awesome. The open worldness of it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely would say that top-down Zelda was never scary. Like it did, like whereas Super Metroid had some atmosphere and stuff like that, like in that previous era. But yeah, that definitely was the first time they went dark. Yeah.
So Steven, I just want to confirm.
Right, so
as we make our entries in this list, we have the power to just place.
We are ranking them. We are ranking them. So I need a vote. We're gonna have to take this to a vote.
How about? Hold on. How about we get everyone's
and then we discuss it?
Yeah, we get everyone's top 10, and then we can vote.
I like that.
All right. Okay, we leave it till the end. All right. Yeah. Let's just keep adding to the list. All right.
We'll have to change that going forward, just because it'll be easier to place them with our first 5.
Yeah. First 5, it should be all right. Yeah. Cool. Mateo, what's your first love?
Ooh. So when I think of the answer to this question, I think that there is no love without heartbreak. There is heartbreak in your first love that is programmed in. So for me, my pick for this genre would be Final Fantasy VII, dude. That was the first game that really broke my heart. When Redacted stabbed Redacted,
Yeah.
like
Damn.
it changed gaming for me. It made me realize, oh my god, there's actual stakes in gaming. People can die. That's amazing.
I would have redacted stabbed because that's pretty spoilery.
When redacted,
There's a lot of
redacted,
people
redacted.
with stabbing weapons in Final Fantasy VII, you know.
But yeah, that game just there was so much in that game that was wild. The weird, trippy Zack storyline that is when I first played through it, I didn't understand what the hell was going on. I had to go and read guides after the fact to figure out what was actually going on. Give me an RPG where I have to pull the CDs out because it's so big and I have to swap disc mid gameplay.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Next month, baby, you'll have it again.
It was such a special experience. I don't even think I owned the game at first. I had like a buddy that had just like beat it in like one long week playthrough or something, one binge session, and he was like, "Dude, you need to check this out," and just handed me over his copy, and I did the same thing over the next week, just binged through that game and like,
dude, that
basically
game,
one speed through.
That game, like every time I'd see it, because I never played the original Final Fantasy VII, but I saw people with the Final Fantasy VII case and just that big old thing.
Just seeing that chunky case.
What is that?
Yeah.
What is that? I went over to a friend's house. I was like, dude, can we play that? I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
What is that? And he's like, nah, dude, it's not that good. I was like, oh, but it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's got so many discs. It's gotta be crazy.
Yeah. There was something about the PS1 dual case. Like I know Gran Turismo 2 was really thick too. Like obviously you had like Legend of Dragoon and stuff, but like because they still had really weighty like instruction booklets and stuff. So like they were chunky things. That was so good.
I do miss a nice, well-made instruction booklet. You know, Tunic really like made me realize how much I miss instruction booklets in games.
Yeah, that game is sick.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy VII broke my heart. It broke my heart. It changed what I thought gaming was. I had played other RPGs prior to that, and this one just flips so many things on its head. There's just so much to unpack in that game.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Damn. I like I said, I was trying to make a non-Sarah list. It's just that all these people are just like really freaking basic, and they just come with pretty hitters straight away. All right, Caden. When you think of First Love, what came to mind?
I want to represent the PS1, even though we just got Final Fantasy VII. But a lot of my gaming growing up was communal because I had so many brothers, and we'd fight for screen space, and so hand in hand with that was couch co-op or couch PvP, and my brothers and I on the couch in front of the CRT growing up played a shitload of Tekken 3, bro.
Oh yeah, dude.
Maybe we'll bring the Tekken 3.
Wow, that was not the pick I was expecting from you.
Yeah, I skipped over Super Smash Bros. On Nintendo 64. The first Smash Bros. I had was GameCube. So I think my first experience with fighting games was Tekken. And I think this goes down to my dad because he was keen on tech. So he was the one filling our home with computers and gaming consoles. And, he's just like, whoa, look at this Tekken 3 graphics fighter. Whoa, this is crazy. He'll bring it home and just like, pit us against each other. And we had the arc of all just like basically button mashing and it's like random who wins to like actually having that moment where like your brain engages and you like lean forward and you're like, let me start memorizing combos. So it was interesting for me being exposed to fighting games because I started with Tekken 3 and then later would go backwards to like Street Fighter and stuff. But Tekken 3 is still kind of like a vibe, dude. Like, the graphics like eventually started to look like shit, but we've come back around where like that aesthetic is like the new pixel art and it's like a stylistic choice now. And like that game has some killer fucking music, dude.
I still hate it. I still hate it.
I think it works so well in like indie horror games, dude. There's so many of those like indie horror games with the chunky
Signalis, dude.
Yeah.
It turns me off so hard, dude. I just
Yeah.
can't get past it.
Yeah. But no, Tekken 3 is a vibe.
Did Tekken 3 introduce Tekken Ball as well?
I think Tekken Ball came in Tekken Tag Tournament or Tekken Tag Tournament 2,
That sounds right.
that is really fun. Yeah,
That's funny. That's funny though. I almost put Tekken as one of my picks, but I couldn't decide which one I wanted to go with.
Playing that game as a kid without really any context for what video games are, you're just like, what is this thing? Let me play it. It's just because you just pick a character, you play through story mode, you get a weird vignette story that may or may not matter, or just be like a dumb bullshit, and it's like you're slowly over the years just piecing together like what you think the lore of Tekken is in your head, and it's just so crazy and weird.
Talking about mashing, I just remember whenever you choose Yoshimitsu, he has that move. I don't know what it is, or it might be a defense move, but it's like when he goes up on his sword, and I just like we'd press that, we're like, what do we do? Like we were just so confused.
That's such a cheesy move because you could just hop at the opponent if they don't know what they're doing. It just totally wrecks them. Yeah, that's good stuff. That was the other thing too. The really good characters. It was simple back in the day, and all the characters are really weird. It's like this guy's a robot with a sword. This is a little orange dinosaur guy. Like this is a scientist that burps poison gas at you. This is a cop, and he has like a gun, but he's drunken master style. This guy's just like a war machine. This guy turns into a devil. It's just. Really
when did they bring in the kangaroo? Because the kangaroo, what I liked about it is it had the little kangaroo inside its pouch.
Yeah. Good stuff.
And also just this, secret characters were great as well. Like you had the wood dude, like the training dummy wood dude. Yeah.
And he just loads you in as a random character essentially. Like he just gets a random character's fighting style every match. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, shout out Tekken.
It's a good pick, man. I like that.
Good pick.
Surprising pick, but a good pick.
Yeah, really good. I'm gonna feel like the most tropey human being when I say that my first love was also Pokemon. and so for me, it was Pokemon Blue.
Nice.
It was my first Game Boy game. I went into my Toy World, which is my local chain toy store, and got a Game Boy Pocket and got Pokemon Blue, and it was just like life changing. I didn't understand what an RPG was. I had no idea what RPGs were, and that's the thing. You got a new move, and that was the worst, hilarious thing about Pokemon Gens 1 and 2 is not knowing what moves actually do.
Yeah.
You just have to accept it. You just go Fire Spin. It's like, oh yeah, Fire Spin. Well, it's past Flamethrower. It must be better than Flamethrower, obviously. And so you choose Fire Spin, and it's just terrible, and it misses, and it does 15 damage. It's like, but you just live and you learn. But man, I can't trade that experience. A lot of people that first. I remember this is from early YouTube when I first got into YouTube. I remember it might have been completionist, been whatever nowadays. But I think Matt Pat said something like the first Final Fantasy game is going to be your favorite game, just because of the experience. And so same with kind of the Pokemon. It's just that first love. That's what first love means to me. It's choosing Squirtle and making it into a freaking a massive tortoise with freaking gun barrels on its back. Is that for 90s cool? You can't get much better than that. It's really hilarious that Charizard is the most other than Pikachu is what the number one character that everyone says when Blastoise has cannons
on his back.
I can't go past that. So it sounds really dumb that our top 10 overall have 2 Pokemon games in it on episode 1.
Yeah.
But,
dude, I'm so on board with it though, because you're right that it was a straight up vibe. I had my lime green Game Boy Color. I had Pokemon Red, and I had a class in my middle school.
Baby.
I had a class in my middle school where we didn't do any work, and we just sat around and played Pokemon against each other the entire class. It was so good.
Oh yeah, dude.
We got back into it in year 12, and I ended up selling my Game Boy Pocket, which is a terrible idea, but we got back into it in year 12, and we were trading Pokemon with a link cable in year 12, because we just got back into it. It was so good.
I went and stayed in line at Toys R Us at midnight so I could get a Mew transferred onto my Pokemon Red.
Oh, that's that's an actual I've only gotten it by using the poison teleport trick, but yeah, that's so cool. That just didn't. I don't think that even existed in Australia. I think it was just US and Japan that you could do that. That's so cool.
I think it's the only time in my life I've ever waited in a line at like 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever crazy time it was.
Nice. Well, we're halfway there. This has been very jolly vibes. We've got to get another 5 games in, and then we've got to fight to the death over what is actually going to be our top 10. So, without further ado, let's move on to the second part of our top 10 of the GG, the list. When you think, oh, that's cool. What are you thinking, Ryan?
You know, I sat and thought about this one for a little while, Steven.
I swear to God, if you say Pokemon again.
I'm not going to say Pokemon.
Pokemon, let's go, Eevee.
Pokemon Go. No, there's a lot of things you could go with that have, their own unique twists on a mechanic or something in gaming. But the one that I kept coming back to, and I would be remiss if I didn't put in for my, that's cool, is Helldivers. Because
dude.
Express a lot of love repeatedly for years at their support input system, the D-pad input system, and really utilizing that. It's something I don't see in a lot of games, and it really I love how it makes builds feel really unique to you, and how you can get really good at using your build, and then your friend wants to come over and try your build, and I don't know what your fucking D-pad supports are like.
Can you just quickly explain this? Because I have no idea what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
It's so good. It's one of my favorite systems in gaming.
So good. So Helldivers is a top-down twin stick shooter, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like a Halo ODST soldier, right? So you're like dropped in from an orbiting spaceship, and you get to pick 4 support items to like help you down on the planet. And some of these are like quick offensive things like airstrikes or bomber runs. Other ones are like call down a tank or a mech suit, some like supporting piece of equipment. And then the third option is like more broad support stuff. There's like area support and denial, like turrets and barbed wire. But to call any of these in, you have to hit the left bumper, you stop in place, your character takes an E and pulls out a radio. And in the lower left-hand corner of your screen pops up a little menu, and next to each of your support items pops up a little D-pad input list. So like if you want to call an airstrike in, it's left, up. If you want to call your mech suit in, it's left, up, right, left, up, right. And then like, different things are more complicated. And then once you input it correctly, you let go of the left bumper and you have a little thing you throw and it drops it down like, it's one of your soldier pieces. So like
cool.
The feeling of getting better at putting in your support, like putting your D-pad things in is so good. It's so hard to replicate.
Dude, and the chaos the chaos that goes along with it too, because this is the game that has friendly fire. And you don't if you don't take the starting perk, you don't have a laser sight on your gun anymore, so you can't see where you're actually aiming. And there's constant waves of enemies. So the chaos of having to put in these commands while shit's popping off, basically, it's so good. It makes it feel way more stressful. Like it's not just an item you're selecting and dropping.
Yeah. Wow. So is there some sort of cooldown, or do you have to earn it, or you can just do it straight away?
Item dependent. So like a lot of the offensive ones, airstrikes, you have like maybe 10 you can use in a single drop, and those will have like really short cooldowns, like maybe 5 seconds top if it has like a quantity max. Others will, like a mech suit, you can really only call in that one mech suit, but it's got crazy health, crazy ammo. Other ones will just recharge over time, but they would have longer cooldowns. It varies wildly depending on, because there's got to be at least 20. There's green, red, and blue different support things you can take. There's got to be at least 20 or 30 of each of those that you can mix and match to make your loadout for yourself.
Shit.
Yep.
It's really fun. And the sequel's coming out real soon, guys. I don't know if you're aware.
also, if anyone wants to get down on the old one, it is like $4 on Steam right now. It is super cheap.
Yeah, and it's still a really good time. And I think because the sequel is going to third person instead of being top down twin stick, like you could still play both of them. They're gonna feel different enough.
Yeah.
Nice, man. The worst thing is, when you were talking about it, you were explaining some things. I'm like, oh man, you might have changed my pick for like what? Oh, that's cool. This is hard. All right, Jonah. What do you think when I say, "Oh, that's cool"?
What I initially thought of was when I was in high school. This game I thought was so cool. For the mechanics more so than just like the hoorah, I'm a cool ass dude. But we're gonna go Just Cause 2, man. I
wow.
freaking love that game, dude. Just
Man.
it was so different having like I mean, you could still do like the GTA thing where you hold someone up, steal the car, drive around. But then you could get on top of the car and then you could open a parachute and just fly around and then continue by zipping with your grappling hook. And the reason why I specifically picked Just Cause 2 is the gameplay movement felt so cohesive in that game, whereas in Just Cause 3 and 4 they started giving you a wingsuit and they started giving you like thrusters, and it took away from like the limitedness of the grappling hook and the parachute. But you felt like you could do anything, get in a jet, hop out, jump out of your jet, and then your guy automatically grapple hooks onto the jet and stands on it, and now you're surfing on top of a jet over just like this island with a dictator, and you're just blowing shit up. It's crazy, man. It was such a fun
dude
game.
Standing around saying "Hell yeah," the game.
Yeah. Hell yeah, the game. Dude, I jumped onto the jet, I rode it into a big fuel silo, jumped off with my parachute, and then I machine gun guys. It was sick.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So cool, bro.
You sound like my son explaining every single Fortnite match he's had.
Oh my
God. It's like he explains every single detail. It's like, and then I picked up the weapon, and then we walked up the hill, and then
You say hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, hell yeah. All right. Oh man, this is so fun.
Yeah.
All right, Mateo.
Oh man,
That's cool to you.
I've got a weird one because I haven't gone back to revisit this game, so I don't know how well the game holds up. And the game is basically just a clone of another game. But we're going Shadow of Mordor, dude. That Nemesis system was one of the coolest
That's
things.
That's cool. That is that's cool.
I was wondering if it was going to get brought up.
Like they closed it off, right? Didn't they patent it? You can't use it in other games now.
You can, but you have to pay
it's
Warner
be in
Brothers.
The Wonder Woman game, supposedly. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that is such a cool system. That changed that game completely for me. Like it was just Lord of the Rings Batman at first, right? But like that Nemesis system just kicked it up an extra notch.
Yeah.
You give me an enemy that's gonna harass me and talk shit to me and ambush me at the worst possible times. It made the game so much more fun. It gave stories on top of like the playthrough, the actual story itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so if it's going to be in the Wonder Woman game, does that mean we're just fighting incels the entire game?
I was wondering, like, is it just a bunch of like human dudes, like compared to like the orcs and shit?
No, you beat me up. Now I gotta beat you.
It's Reddit users, dude. It's just a bunch of Reddit users.
Hairy Dickball 69 has leveled up
with a little cutscene of him just over there shaking his fist from his computer.
Yeah,
shaking his fedora. All right, that's a game. Hell yeah!
Hell yeah,
Caden. Oh, that's cool.
One of the things that is lodged in my brain from watching Game Maker's Toolkit on YouTube. Shout out to that channel if you haven't watched that. He basically just does video game essays, like analyzing game mechanics, but video essays. There's this game that I picked up because of that channel that he uses to illustrate how one of the best things you can do in game design is giving something two purposes. Instead of making two separate things for two separate purposes. So this game, it's called Downwell. Have any of you guys ever played it? It's an indie game. And it's like cheap as hell. It's like $3.
Heard of it, yeah.
It is a super simple roguelike or roguelite where you just play a little guy. There's like no setup. He just jumps down a well for some reason and the first thing you do is try to jump, and you realize your boots are like guns that just shoot bullets downwards.
Huh.
So the jump button is also the shoot button. Like you jump and shoot at the same time. But you have ammo. So your ammo is also kind of like powering your jumps. And there's like two kinds of enemies, like ones that you have to shoot to kill, and others you have to land on with your boots to kill. And you get this gem currency that you use to like buy power-ups and like health upgrades during a run, but also if you like get enough gems in a row, you get what's called a gem high, and like you're powered up and do more damage. And there's different kinds of boots that like do different kinds of, your high-powered sniper rifle boot or your shotgun boot or whatever. So it's like just everything in this game is doing like two things. And like, the first time you drop down the well and jump and bullets come out of your boots, you're just like, oh, that's cool.
Hell yeah.
But, just super, super simple game. But like, if you look on Steam, it's got like overwhelmingly positive reviews. It's cheap as hell. I definitely suggest picking it up and doing a few runs. It's a good night of fun.
Heck yeah.
That sounds sick.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we've almost got 10 games. We've almost got the list. So,
which Pokemon game are you going with, Steven?
Pokemon game I'm choosing for that's cool is Heart Gold Soul Silver, because you had the pedometer and you go around and count your steps, so it's pretty cool. No, I actually want to give two shout outs. First of all, for what Ryan sparked in my brain.
Wait, you're picking two games?
No, I'm not picking two games. I'm picking one game. I'm just want to give you a shout out. I'm giving you a shout out just offhandedly because I rate this pretty low in my Halo games, but the Gravity Hammer. The Gravity Hammer is so cool.
Oh, yeah,
I love the Gravity Hammer. And then I also want to give a shout out to I don't even know what you would call it, but whatever it is you do in that level of Titanfall 2 when you're falling down the shaft.
Hell yeah, dude!
That was gonna be my thing, but I was like, okay, I've got to be a little less.
Effect and cause, dude. That level, rules.
So good. So good. And also, I was going to give a shout out to the Smart Gun. That was obviously, like, man, that game is 100%, oh, that's cool. But yeah, my actual one, I'm going to go a little bit more obscure, is Child of Light. And Child of Light starts out as a...
That is not a hell yeah game.
No, but this is the hell yeah part of it. No, it's not a hell yeah. It's, oh, that's cool. You seem to forget.
No, I know, but I'm saying it's not a hell yeah. We all brought hell yeah games. You're bringing...
I'm sorry. Cool. I'm sorry I'm not a dude, bro. I'm sorry I didn't bring my mech game with my jumping and my double jumping.
3 hell divers down well. Shout of Mordor just cost 2 hell yeah. Let's go.
Hell yeah,
bro. So anyway, it's a Metroidvania turn-based RPG with an awesome turn system where you can see the turns and you can also make sure that enemies don't get a turn by attacking them at certain points. That's an awesome. That's cool. The extra that's cool was because of the fact that it's a Metroidvania 2D side scroller as well. Was you literally go like, it's only like a 6-hour game or something. It's really short. Ubisoft game that's not freaking. Actually, it does ask you to join up to Ubisoft Plus. Join up to Ubisoft Plus, people. Come on, just do it. Uplay, sorry, that's what it's called.
I don't think it's called Uplay anymore.
Oh, isn't it? Anyway,
you're right with Ubisoft Plus.
An hour and a half through the game, something happens to your character, and then all of a sudden you can just fly. So all of the platforming just goes away. You can just fly. And it's just like, what a cool concept from going like, oh yeah, I'm jumping around. And I'm like, oh man, I hope I can get a double jump one day. And then it's just, no, you can just fly. Don't worry about it. And so, yeah, that's what really makes that game cool. It's just like, you can explore everywhere then. It's like, and that's like the beauty of that Metroidvania experience is, when you're in Symphony Night, freaking Metroid Prime, whatever it is, and you're trying to double jump to get that last little square, cleared on your map, you can just clear all the squares. It's so, yeah, that's cool. So Child of Light, shout out.
Yeah, I did play that when it came out. I should maybe replay it sometime.
All right, Cade, could you just give me a quick rundown of our tentative top 10 game Dlist?
All right. We have Pokemon Blue, Ocarina of Time, Final Fantasy VII, Tekken 3, Pokemon Silver, Child of Light, Just Cause 2, Shadow of Mordor, Downwell, and Helldivers are our current nominees.
Damn.
Wow, those are the 10 best video games of all time, people. You heard it here.
So far.
If I had
Just
to pick
Cause
them,
2.
honestly, yeah.
The classic download.
Out of 10, I would rate them 10 out of those 10.
Yeah.
Caden, this sheet looks fantastic, by the way, for you just tossing this
thanks.
together as we've been chatting over here.
I got this bullshit where it like took the D column and applied the coloring of the C column, and I can't figure out how to make it not do that, but we'll fix it later.
So we're flying by the seat of our pants here. We got to start putting these into an order, and
Yeah.
I want to know first of all. Okay, our second 5 is like these, like, yeah, we're thinking about mechanics, but does anyone feel particularly strongly about those bottom 5 games, the second 5 that we went through, to be in the top 5? Like, First Love feels like we're going to be pretty freaking strong about our opinions on. So does anyone particularly feel about those bottom 5? Because for me, like, weirdly, because I don't know exactly what like the Metascore is, but based on the explanation of the Helldiver system, I'm like, man, that feels like it could move up the list.
Yeah.
I love Helldivers, but I'm also fine with it not breaking top 6.
Yeah, I think Helldivers could potentially be a top 5 game, but we've got some strong
Yeah, I know,
competitors in this one.
I'm okay with just going ahead and throwing Downwell and Tekken 3 into 10 and 9.
I was going to offer Shadows of Mordor for either 10 or 9.
Yeah, I feel like, no, like I had a great time with Shadow of Mordor. It is an 8, but that system is a 10. Like, the system itself, absolute 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think Shadows of Mordor needs to be a little bit higher up there, just because so late in the video game like scene, it created something completely new, and it would have changed how games were made if Warner Bros.
Still will. Just give it another 20.
So that's fair. So I think if we're thinking in that respect, I think maybe it can definitely go above Child of Light, and by the sounds of it, Caden, you're saying Downwell as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. You've played both of them, so where would you place Downwell and Child of Light? If you want to place Downwell above it, I'll take it. No dramas. I just love Child of Light and wanted to shout it out.
I think I personally probably did enjoy Child of Light more than Downwell.
Okay.
So I don't mind putting it higher.
Okay, then I think we can probably lock in those 3 then. If we said like Downwell, Child of Light, Mordor.
Works for me.
I'd put Mordor on no shade, Caden. I'd put Shadow Mordor above Tekken, honestly.
Ooh,
that works for me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't feel super strongly about Tekken or Downwell, other than the memories. I'm happy that they're at the top
seething right now.
No, if it was Tekken Tag Tournament, we're having a different discussion.
Yeah.
I'll have to say best, like, that'll be a good theme. Best game with friends, like that sort of thing. Yeah,
we could almost do a top 10 of best Tekken games, dude.
Well, currently I have number 10 Downwell, number 9 Tekken 3, number 8 Child of Light, number 7 Shadow of Mordor.
6
So
Helldivers.
filling it out.
I mean,
I'd put Just Cause at 6. Yeah, I'd put Just Cause at 6.
Okay.
As much as I love Just Cause too.
Yeah. Or I'd even take Shadow Mordor at 6 and Just Cause at 7.
I'm in the ranks.
All right. Climb the ranks. Okay. Yeah. Then I would happily take number 5 for Pokemon Red Blue, because everyone knows, well, everyone that's a nerd about Pokemon knows what the issues with Pokemon Red Blue are. But it is still just a magical game. So like the music is just phenomenal. You know,
I haven't recaptured the community aspect of that Pokemon game in any game, any Pokemon game except for Pokemon Go.
Yeah, true. Like the fact that we would, like, when it first came out, we'd drive around town, and like we'd go to the botanical gardens, and there'd be like just other like millennials just hanging out, just like, oh shit, dude, we saw a Butterfree. Oh, come over here. Like, it was just like such a weird bonding experience.
Or the articles of people flying their phones on drones, and then their phones falling off the drone.
God. I feel good saying Helldivers at 4. That feels great for Helldivers in my mind.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
Helldivers.
That feels good.
That sounds so good.
Yeah.
That system sounds great.
And I would be, as much as I love Pokemon Silver, I think I'd be a fool to fight for it at 1 or 2 when the other options are Ocarina of Time and Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, it's so tough. So
for Final Fantasy 7 to be number 10, so I'll be happy if it's a 3. You guys will please give me that.
Ooh, that's toasty. I personally haven't gotten past, like, I've gotten out of Midgard multiple times, but then I've gotten
I didn't play growing up.
I ever got was onto like one of the ships, like, and you're pretending to be.
I think that's
sort
how
of
far I got.
That's
exactly.
As far as
There's
I
that
got.
fucking parade minigame that doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
Oh my god, that parade minigame is impossible,
all
dude.
of the minigames, like the stealth minigame and like the Shinra HQ, like I played that game like as an adult without ever having played it before with no nostalgia. I think it just sucks. I'm sorry.
I would personally. My vote is Silver goes above it. I'm sorry.
I'm fine with that. I don't feel that strongly about it. I think it. I think it not.
Are
being,
we
I think
saying
it not being in the. I think
Jonah is very
seven
strongly
not,
about Pokemon being trash. So
no, it's a bit. It's a bit, honestly. Yeah. So are we saying it goes Ocarina of Time, Pokemon was Silver,
Gold, Silver. Yeah,
Gold, Silver. Final Fantasy 7?
I don't like the way it looks though. Now that I'm looking at Pokemon Silver,
it's such a good game, dude.
Wow.
I do understand. I do understand the hesitance, but it is such a good game. Like,
it's so good
for me. But it's like, and the fact that you don't even get like the RPG King Caden like repping your game, that hurts. I think that hurts. In this group, that hurts. And like, look, just like in freaking Ryan's list, numbers will be like reconsidered at some point as well.
Obviously.
I
can't wait till you guys have 100 games and you're like, all right, 5 re-ranks, guys, let's go.
Yeah, man, that'll be brutal.
Talking about systems and games that you go back and play as an adult and they're way easier. There's this mini game in Chrono Trigger where you have to like do the same motions as like the character at the fair. And I remember it being impossible when I was a kid. And I recently went back and played that in Chrono Trigger. The easiest shit in the world. So easy. I was an idiot when I was a kid.
Is it Clefairy Says in Pokemon Stadium 1?
Oh yeah,
Ryan?
Yeah.
That is so many button prompts. I think it goes up to like maybe close to 20.
Yeah,
which is just too many for most people to remember. Like most people can remember like 8 or whatever it is, like the amount that a phone number is. But it's like after that, it's like where it gets like really tricky. But yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah. All right.
Also,
so Pokemon Stadium number 1. Thank you. Yeah. Number 2, Pokemon Let's Go. Number 3, Pokemon Go.
Can we just all meet up somewhere and play some Pokemon Stadium? That was such a good game.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm sorry. I'm okay.
Rattata Run, Slowpoke, freaking the sushi place. That's so good.
There's hacks for Pokemon Stadium now too. They like even add like later generation Pokemon,
your ROM hacks,
like,
bro.
custom models. Like it's crazy the links people go to these days.
Can we play remotely if we do that?
We need to have Caden just give us his ranking of his top 10 favorite ROM hacks.
Yeah, can I nominate hacks for
illegal games?
Yes, let's have a chaos list.
just to appease the Ninty haters, could we just like throw out a couple like bad vibes towards Ocarina of Time?
It's old.
Just for funsies.
Yeah.
It is old, yes.
The water temple sucks ass.
The scarecrow thing doesn't.
The 3DS version though, hey. 3DS version.
We're talking about OG. Get your 3DS out of here.
Zelda's overrated.
I enjoyed the game more when I was child Zelda rather than adult Zelda.
Fair, man.
The Shadow Temple is so that's the only temple I've never completed. I've never completed that temple.
The thing about bitching about Water Temple is like it's got Shadow Link. And I know it's like, oh, but Shadow Link was in Zelda 2. And it's like, yeah, but that sucked.
Oh my god. Did you guys also only recently realize the trick to beating Shadow Link? Because when I was a kid, I just swung randomly and hoped for the best.
Yeah, I think it's the Megaton Hammer. It doesn't have the Megaton Hammer.
You can use the Megaton Hammer or the Giant's Knife to cheese it because he can't copy it. But if you fight him with the Master Sword, when you're locked on, if you put in directional inputs on the analog stick, you can attack vertically or horizontally. And if you change up vertically and horizontally, it confuses him and he messes up, and then you hit him. And it's like
that's pretty clever.
Never do that.
I didn't understand it. I was using Deku nuts to stun it, and you could get in one hit, and that was it. And I was like, man, this fight is impossible. Like,
just keep brought a set.
So does anyone? Obviously, Ryan said overrated. Would you push it down?
No, no. I think it's overrated for me. I don't think it's overrated for its impact on the.
Are you saying Zelda as a whole is overrated, or Ocarina of Time?
Yes.
Okay.
Zelda as a whole is overrated.
Well, let's revisit Final Fantasy VII.
Since it has like 20 games, Final Fantasy VII as a whole is overrated.
Right? Yeah. So when more Final Fantasy games come into this list, there's more that'll be in the top 10. Yeah.
Dude,
okay. So
Final
is everyone happy?
Dude, Steven's Final Fantasy VII is not even the best Final Fantasy game on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
Final Fantasy Tactics. It's Final Fantasy Tactics.
Then why didn't you bring Final Fantasy Tactics?
Mathematician.
It was First Love.
That's right.
Love, dude.
Hey, get a wrinkle in that freaking smooth brain of yours. Anyway,
look, Jonah. I was sad. I was very sad about Delita betraying me in Final Fantasy Tactics. Sorry for the spoilers for the.
Bro, I have no idea who that is.
But he didn't break my heart.
Bro, I don't have enough wrinkles in my brain, my smooth little brain, to play a tactics game.
All right, this has been the most unhinged episode of GGD.
Yeah, and we're running long.
Can we just quickly run down what our final top 10 is? The greatest GOAT, the list.
The undisputed, factual, objective top 10 video games of all time so far, according to us, is number 10, Downwell. Number 9, Tekken 3. Number 8, Child of Light. Number 7, Just Cause 2. Number 6, Shadow of Mordor. Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, I guess. Number 5, Pokemon Red and Blue. Number 4, Helldivers. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Number 3,
hell yeah.
Final Fantasy VII. Original. PS1. Number 2, Pokemon Silver and Gold. And number 1, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
You think if we showed someone this list, we didn't tell them what it was. We just showed them a list of these 10 games and we asked them to guess what this list is.
They'd like have a heart attack or like an aneurysm.
What the fuck is Just Cause 2 there?
Yeah, the Ubisoft representation on this list is unexpected.
I think we owe it to Helldivers to keep it in the top 10 for as long as possible, so that we keep saying hell yeah every single.
Hell yeah.
It has this like mythical status now where it's just based on the amazing description of what the game is for Ryan.
I need you to put next to Helldivers, hell yeah, in all caps.
Got it.
Hell yeah.
All right, and without further ado, that is the GGD. And yeah, so in following episodes, we'll just do 5 games, unless we're going to do a whole episode like this and we do a special one where we do 10, but we'll try and make it quicker. We'll see how we go. Maybe if we don't have a guest, we'll just do 4 games and we'll just slowly add to the list. But yeah, the intent is to have a bit of fun, tell some stories, and yeah, make it an awesome list of games. So thanks for the inspiration, Ryan, and thanks for letting me steal it, even though I didn't ask for permission. Just do it.
Well, thanks for having me on as the first.
Support AI generative art.
Oh no!
Where is the little guy? Maybe we don't know how to draw. What are we meant to do?
I just want to give a shout out to the community. If you guys have any recommendations for prompts for us to add to our top
themes, themes,
throw them out there. Let us know. Let us know.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Take it away,
All right,
kid.
I'm go pee.
What's up?
That was such a weird transition, dude.
And now, the Caden has relieved himself. I'll be taking back the reins of the hosting for some reason, because this just seems to be my egocentric episode. not for that reason. We are going over the GGD, no, not the Dlist. You know the thing. This is the GGD Community 2023 GOTY Awards Top 10. So I obviously asked everyone to vote on their top 5 games, just because it makes it easy to count. And then we collated the list. Unfortunately, we have to be pretty terrible arbiters. Halo 2, arbiter, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, Halo 2, double one. All right. Anyway, we have to be the arbiters because unfortunately the number 9 spot is taken up by 3 games. Oh, sorry, that would be the number 8 spot is taken up by 3 games, which means we have to demote 1 game. Ooh. We have to promote 1 game and leave 1 game as well. So we're gonna make this, well, not promote. It will be number 8, a definitive number 8, a definitive number 9, and a definitive 10. Oh my god, I'm really dumb. They're all gonna stay in the top 10. I've been drinking too much. I apologize.
Why are there 20 games?
Throw it out. How did Pokemon Go get in here? Anyway. The 3 games we have to decide on. My heart pick here. I'm so glad it made it, mainly because I cucked for it. Dave the Diver. Hell yeah, Dave the Diver. Come on, yeah, top 10, dude. Baby. Final Fantasy 16, you made the cut. Okay. And Hi-Fi Rush.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Dave the Diver 8. Wait. Yeah. Dave the Diver 8. Hi-Fi Rush 9. Final Fantasy 7.
Boom.
Sorry, Final Fantasy 16, 10.
That seems pretty strong. Has anyone got any strong opinions in another way?
Nope. Nah, that seems good to me.
Nailed it.
Hell yeah, brother. That is the quickest thing we've done on this podcast.
Easy.
So, number 10 on the GGD Community Top 10. Final Fantasy 16. Well done, you made it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you finish it?
Barely.
I finished it. The ending is amazing. I don't love the game, but I love it's awesome, and it's not great.
So it's a game all about the destination, not the journey.
Well, you're a gameplay guy too, right? So this game must have been like a pretty big miss on some aspect for you, right?
Yeah, like riding chocobos or chocobos or whatever, however you pronounce it. Not enjoyable. You've got to like wait for a cutscene and then getting off them. You've got to like hold free, and it goes around in a whole thing to get off them. So it's like I just say I'll just run, because after you run for a certain distance, like 100 meters, you go into a run.
Mm-hmm.
You can't activate run. You can't activate run. It just Clive just decides to run after a certain amount of time. So, and that's usually as fast as a chocobo anyway. Mm-hmm. So you just don't jump on a chocobo. Like is the key to the game's success.
What does a run look like?
There's a word for that, Steven.
It's a run.
Gallop.
Yeah.
It's a gallop, right?
Gallop.
No. All I can picture is him getting on for it.
Humans do not gallop. It's a run.
I mean, you can
if you saw it, you would understand why. Gallop.
You mean a sprint?
I played the game. Sprint. Thank you, Jonah. All right.
What? We're not.
Hold on, guys. I need to run down the street real quick.
Like you can't telecom network.
Jonah, Pooch and I already proved in Seattle that the fastest way to go downhill is to skip. Skipping is the fastest way to go downhill.
That sounds dangerous.
Oh, it's so dangerous, dude. We almost wiped out this old couple.
You guys were like so drunk most of Seattle too.
Oh my god!
Wake up at 7 in the morning. They're cracking beers.
You could run.
Number 9, like. This could be, if you inverted this list, it could be the music, list. Because Final Fantasy 16, banger tracks, Hi-Fi Rush, banger tracks, beautifully looking game. I wish I had played more of it. It looks gorgeous. Like I don't know much about it. I don't know if anyone finished it here on the podcast.
I'm amongst the legion of white men with no rhythm that got to like the 3rd mission and was like, I can't fucking stand this anymore, and dropped it. So.
But man, no one can deny the visuals.
The artistry.
Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So much style.
Yeah, so number 8, Dave the Diver. Damn.
Just wholesome, dude. And
Wholesome.
who even has the time to list all the various mechanics and in that game?
Me.
Jesus. Don't
I have
do
the
it.
time. Let's
Don't
go.
do it. I
Go
don't
into
need
overtime.
You, I don't need you to run through it.
All I'm gonna say is, this is my I am definitely not a roguelite person. This is my roguelite. It's like, it is so chill. It's like, you lost. That's fine. Just do it again. It's like, it's so chill. You just run your restaurant, man. So good.
Run your restaurant.
Let's get into the number 7, and this would be Jonah's number 3 pick.
Ooh.
Alan Wake 2.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, made some ground at the end, which was really good on the list.
Mm-hmm. People finishing it up at the end of the year.
I've heard some people say that we should dump it down to number 8, or I'll dump it down one spot because of that weird musical number at the Game Awards.
That'd be me. I was taken aback by the yeah. That was.
But did you see Sam Lake's face? He was so happy.
Sam Lake is awesome.
He deserved it. He deserved it.
Shout out.
Alan Wake 2 is so weird because I almost universally hear from everyone. It's like, the actual gameplay kind of sucks, but the game is amazing. Game of the year.
That's what I keep hearing. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think Saga's gameplay sucks, but I don't like Alan's gameplay. It's very different.
Yeah, right. But yeah, Max Payne himself in that game. Mm-hmm. Shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace, King.
Going on to number 6, because my sheets, obviously, it's out by one. So my number 6 on the GGD go-to list is Ryan's number 2 game of the year.
Ooh.
Jedi Survivor made some good ground, in the end. So shout out to everyone that voted on Jedi Survivor.
I feel like that game's kind of been an underdog for the year.
It definitely flew under the radar, dude.
I have not heard very many people talk about it. Congratulations, Jedi Survivor.
Other than, funnily enough, the Friendly Fire podcast, when that game, you guys finished that game, you were like, Goaty, hands down.
So good.
Just walking away.
It would have, if without Baldur's Gate 3, it would have been my Goaty. I guess that was the only thing to,
Somebody, I heard somebody describe that game as Prince of Persia Sands of Time and I was like, oh, I need to play this now.
Yeah, I can see that. 100%.
Yeah, I can see that. It's really freaking good. If you played the first one and you were like, I don't know, it was fine, I don't know about the second one, they really stepped their game up. The second one is a fantastic sequel.
Yeah, the first one was
the movement is much better. The movement is great.
Areas are much more interesting to explore.
Yeah.
Rewards for exploring are much better. I think the story is better.
The glitches are better than the last game. This a lot stronger. Good
better bugs
for glitches. Yeah, better bugs. Yeah, better in every way.
Before we move on, can I get a hell yeah from the congregation for our brother and George Lucas BD1? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Also, I want to give a hell. Is it Marin? That one of my favorite characters of the year. So good, dude.
Also, that moment.
Hell yeah.
If you know, you know. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it, but if you know, you know. It's good. It's good.
That's a hell yeah moment.
Hell yeah.
All right, now let's move on to the hell yeah game of the year. This is the hell yeah game of the year. Number 5, Resident Evil.
Yeah.
That's a big hell yeah game.
That is a super big hell yeah game.
Just to jump in here, I've only played up to the church, right after kind of the village, and I got in touch with my friend Gabe, who's a super big Resident Evil fan. He's played the original a bajillion times. Now that some time has passed since the remake came out, and I had to force him. I was like, you go to prison for the rest of your life, and you can only choose Resident Evil original or Resident Evil remake to play as your only game for the rest of your life. And he's like, now that I had some time to think on it, I do think that Resident Evil 4 remake is superior to the original. I was
Does that include Separate Ways?
Yes.
Yeah, Separate Ways dope.
Apparently the original Separate Ways sucks ass, and the new one is dope as hell. So
Yeah, it's true. Well, there's also Operation Ada. That's the worst of the extra content. But yeah, I think Separate Ways is fun. But no, the new Separate Ways is amazing. Awesome. Dude.
That's a good pick. That's a really good pick for that.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the Helldivers of the year for sure. And just missing out by 2 points, and we can blame Caden for this. Missing out by 2 points off of the podium. It is Jonah's game of the year. Sea of Stars, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Number 4. That's a really good showing. I love
Hell yeah.
We got 2 indie games on our top 10. That's really good. And man, Sea of Stars, yeah. You can't deny that quality. That man, you give someone like a modern Chrono with a lot of, Mario and Luigi, combat and all this sort of stuff. It's like pretty fantastic.
Physical versions
It made Jonah so happy. I enjoyed watching Jonah play that game. The music was sick. I don't have any actual experience with the game, but it looks like it definitely deserves that spot.
The physical versions are going up for pre-order. You can pre-order the vinyl soundtrack. Can't wait.
Sick.
I can't wait.
I'm just waiting for that DLC, bro.
And then they got the DLC dropping hopefully this year. They're already we're talking about our next game. We're working on it. And it's like, let's go, Sabotage.
That's great, dude.
I just want to shout out. I started the Messenger immediately after finishing Sea of Stars, our last game.
Ooh.
That game's hard as fuck, dude. It is kicking my ass. I've already died like 100 times or something. It's got the instant kill spikes and insane bosses. Early game, they're just crazy patterns. And it's like, what the hell?
That's the ninja platformer one, right? Yeah, that game is super hard, man.
Does it have knockback in old Castlevania?
Yes, but you can get an ability that allows you to do a recovery jump after being knocked back. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out. First on the podium, this is the movement goatee of the year. You know what it is. It's Spider-Man 2.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Gunbrella.
Yeah, dude.
Ooh, strong opinions. Oh, man, I got to play. But yeah, man, Spider-Man 2, the web wings, I apologize. The web wings, they're so good.
Yeah. I wasn't sure I was going to like him at first, but boy, are they fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a fun sandbox to play around in, man. And it's
literally
no one hates Spider-Man.
Can't wait to play it one day.
It'll come to PC at some point.
One day.
All right. This was an interesting thing because first of all, everyone knows that's me and Ninty. So, everyone's like, oh, you know what's going to you know what's going to come first. But I made sure to send out more vibes. Hey, can people send in more votes? We need more votes.
Yeah.
And so just edging it out in the number 1 spot. That's a behind the scenes joke. You'll get it one day. Just edging it out by 4 points. Baldur's Gate 3 got the goatee, baby.
Wow.
And Tears of the Kingdom came in second. But yeah,
I was like, you skipped one.
I know. I had to do it the drama. Yeah, I had to do it. But yeah. Yeah, so Tears of the Kingdom in number 2. I feel comfortable with that. It's one of the greatest games I've ever played in my life. But the stories from everyone of Baldur's Gate 3 that are into that sort of stuff is just phenomenal too. I can't. I was just
comparing the writing and narrative of Baldur's Gate 3 to Zelda is like comparing Brandon Sanderson to a 2-year-old's writing that's incomprehensible. It's
Mesozoic era scratchings on a wall.
There you go, Ryan. Zelda's not overrated this year.
It's underrated, you could say. Underrated by 4 points, you could say.
I liked the Zelda game.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's a good list. That's a solid list.
Yeah. Will you run it down from the top?
No, because I don't know how to do that. From the top would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
That's
from the
the
top.
numbers, yeah. Yeah, so the first game came first. Yep. The second game, number 2.
What's happening?
The GGD Community 2023 Go is Baldur's Gate 3. Shout out to Larian Studios. Caden doesn't like Belgians. He didn't put it on his list, so just a little bit of news bit for you. Number 2, Tears of the Kingdom. Number 3, Spider-Man 2. Number 4, Sea of Stars. Number 5, RE4 Remake. It should have been number 4 because the vibes, man.
Yeah.
4 and 4.
Continue, please.
Number 6, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Number 7, Alan Wake 2. Number 8, Dave the Diver. Number 9, Hi-Fi Rush. And number 10, Final Fantasy 16. Congratulations to all these amazing games. Thank you so much to everyone who voted. Great list. Solid list.
Yeah, really good list.
What a good year for gaming.
Holy
what a
shit,
solid year.
Unbelievable.
Will we ever recover from 2023?
I don't know. 2024 is starting out pretty strong, dude.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations, everyone. You can pat yourself on the back. We made it to the end of the podcast. Time for final thoughts. Before anybody else, I'd just like to throw out, hey, thanks to Steven for accidentally having to basically host this episode. It just happened that way.
A little
What a mistake it was, indeed.
Yeah. So Ryan, as a guest, I'll let you go first. Final thoughts. Just anything you want to plug at all, or anything that's on your mind.
Spend more time with games you already have this year, everybody.
Yes. Baldur's Gate 3, I'm looking at you, baby.
Pokemon Go, I'm looking at you, baby.
Steven, final thoughts.
I'm just an idiot. But no, it was a great list. Thanks for playing, everyone. And I hope everyone enjoyed the GGD and throws in games because I think it's a fun
GGD
segment. The
you
GGD list.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers.
Mateo, final thoughts.
Thanks, Ryan, for being on this episode. It's always a blast having you on. You're so fun to game with. I know that our schedules don't exactly sync up, but got to get some time in. Also, a shout out to Breadman5000 on the D&D subreddit because I really like this post that he made that just is just titled "My DM Sucks."
The cruelest of fates.
There's just so much going in this D&D subreddit. I've been looking at this all night.
All right, Jonah, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Baby, I'm on vacation. I've got Prince of Persia. I'm picking up tomorrow. I'm super stoked for that. We got our first official session of D&D tomorrow night too. And I got a little bit of a recommendation for everyone. And it's a surprise recommendation. I have recently gotten into an audiobook series called Dungeon Crawler Carl, and oh my god, it is so freaking fun, dude. It is hilarious. It gets super tense. I love this series. I know it's got a goofy name, but dude, it is so fun. It is so fun.
What do you got, Steven? What is going on down there in that square?
It just sounds like my son brings home his school readers and it's Cowboy Sam, Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yeah. No, I'll have to check that out. I'm about to finish up Book 4 of the Stormlight Archive, so I'm going to need a new audiobook. I'm twiddling my thumbs for Book 5 to come out. My final thoughts are, can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
The gaming, bye.
Bye.
As always, a big thank you to our friend Misdriven for the music in our podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to check out more of what they have, you can pay them a visit on Twitter at MIST_RIVEN 719 or on Bandcamp at Misdriven. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time. Because he's just but it's usually because I have a joke or something that I didn't get to say, and I'm like, oh, I gotta say this fucking stupid thing.
You want it before you forget it. It's the funniest thing I've ever thought. If I don't get it out right now, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, it's the great game Dlist.
I fucking love that, dude. That's so good. We need a graphic for that. It
was the delivery.
middle of the screen.
It was
it's
how
just
quick
GGD,
and ready you
and
had.
then in regular font list is just added onto the logo.
Yeah.
Well, just Comic Sans list on there.
Lowercase, yeah, because I was like, you always just take over, and you're really good at taking over, and you just did.
Oh,
it was
I see.
hilarious.
Like, I'm gonna go pee.
I dig it.
All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, foreskin, 3, 2, 1. Fuck. Damn it, why is foreskin funny?
You did it yourself.
The bloopers of like a comedy movie, you know, like
dude, come on.
the cast is just cracking.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.